This year marks the 80-year mark, that is, since the end of World War II. Grand Rapids, by the way, planning a major celebration to honor the greatest generation. Joining us now to talk about it, Joel Westfall from the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Museum and Brian Howenstein, co-chair of the event. Let's start with the big picture. What is the greatest celebration all about? I know that back in 2020, we had a huge 75th anniversary celebration. And this year, how are we going to top that?
Well, the one in 2020 was the largest in the continental United States. The only one larger than us here was at Pearl Harbor. But this year, we're doing it even bigger. Last 5 years ago was kind of a two-day event. This is going to be an all-week-long event with just a massive number of events going on. We have a big flyover of World War II planes over the entire state of Michigan, again similar to 5 years ago. This year we're having a big parade downtown Grand Rapids beginning around 10 o'clock, so about 11:30, and then right after that parade ends, there will be the flyover. That will be on September 1st. We have a World War II film festival planned with Studio Park Celebration Cinemas, and that will be that weekend, that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The Air Zoo is in cooperation with us. The Air Zoo is a big sponsor with us. So the Air Zoo is putting on a big event on that Saturday, September 7th. And that will be a kind of like an ESO, Victory Ball, ESO kind of an event. That's going to be just huge, popular. I think also they're having on that particular day where you get to actually go into the World War II planes. They're having a cockpit night.
Wow.
So that's going to be really cool as well.
So a lot of authentic experiences that we can expect for this entire thing.
I mean, for example, the parade will include cars from Gilmore Car Museum, from actual World War II era cars. The Air Zoo is giving us a couple of planes, an American 2.5-ton truck.
Wow.
So it's just we have a big thing at the ballpark. It's Greatest Generation Night at the ballpark on September 2nd. And we're doing a lot of stuff there that night as well. It's just a massive amount of ways and opportunities for us to thank these people because the amount of sacrifice that they had gone through, and not just sacrifice. They first come out of a Great Depression, and then boom, right into the middle of an entire world war.
Yeah.
And that sacrifice and what they gave to us, saving a democracy. We just have to say thank you one last time, because they're going away. They will not be with us for the 85th. They're already in their 90s right now.
Yeah, it's important to recognize those folks, and we're looking at the Ford Museum website right now about the greatest generation celebration. Brian, I think it's important to ask you what this means to you, because not only are you co-chair, but you actually have somebody who means a lot to you.
Absolutely.
As a part of this celebration. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, to me, it sort of harkens back to my grandfather and his contributions during World War II. Chief of Intelligence of the European Theater of Operations under Dwight D. Eisenhower, right here from Grand Rapids. This editor of the Grand Rapids Herald back in the late 30s was asked to come and play a pivotal role in World War II under the direction of the European Theater of Operations. So he was instrumental in such planning as D-Day, the D-Day invasion and deception plotting that happened at that time. And obviously, let's not forget about my grandmother, who was left behind with 3 small children to raise for the duration of the war, not knowing what his role was. Was he on the front line? What is he gonna,
Because I mean, it is back then we didn't really have the communication
Absolutely.
methods, right, that we have now.
It was all letters, and of course I have all those handwritten letters back and forth between the two of them, very touching. And but he was before we were actually involved in the war. He was stationed in Iceland. And the crew that was stationed in Iceland was not allowed to write back to their families, because that would have been, sort of showing our stripes, if you will, as to what our mission was in Iceland at the time. And of course, we were you know, we were shooting down planes and we were, you know, sinking ships, and we probably shouldn't have been doing that at that time. And so it was a very precarious sort of time period. And of course, he recovered a code book on the from a German plane that they had shot down, and took that to Bletchley Park, where they then figured out the code breaking. So he was involved from the very earliest days. But so it's people like him that we want to celebrate, and the thing that we really want to pull together here is that youngest generation, those Boy Scouts, those Girl Scouts. We want to connect them to these living legends that are here with us for just a handful more years, right? They're 98 plus at this stage, and if we can build those connections, that'll be an experience that will last a lifetime for them. My grandfather remembers the day that he escorted a Civil War veteran here in Grand Rapids, and that lasted through his lifetime, that experience.
Yeah, and I was trying to read some of the board when we had it up there. He died at 103 back in 2016.
Yes.
And just what a legacy he leaves behind, but also important for us to carry that on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's so many people around this area and really just across the country in general that have been touched by World War II in some way, whether it be they know a veteran in their family or they know somebody too who is left behind in the process. What would you say is going to be some of the most important things for people to take away from this event?
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad you bring that up, because this board that we're showing here you today, everyone in this community has an opportunity to have their family member that served or was home on the home front, was a Rosie the Riveter, or served in some capacity, and almost everybody did. So we want to celebrate, basically the qualification is, were they alive? Did they live in America during the war period? So are they 98 plus and have lived here during the war? They should go online to ggcelebration.org and reserve a board that can be carried on parade day, either by a scout or by themselves in that parade, and honor them this one last time.
It's very cool. It's so surreal when you say one last time, right?
Yeah.
Because you're right. I mean, in a couple years, they may not be around with us, you know, to kind of experience the legacy that they continue to carry on. Can you talk to me about the preparation that goes into an event like this? You know, how do you guys prepare for this? I'm sure it has to be extensive. I mean, you guys have a lot of resources at the Presidential Museum, but this has got to be a lot of work to put this on.
It's interesting, although, you know, I am the deputy director of the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Library Museum. I actually started this as a private citizen 6 years ago in 2019. During a government shutdown. I got the idea from watching Ken Burns' Civil War documentary, because in that very first episode it talks about what Brian was talking about, the 75th anniversary celebration of the end of the Civil War. And I'm like, well, who's doing that for World War II? And it turned out to be no one. So I kind of started that out as a private citizen. And we have our committee. This time we started very early. We started in August of last year, and we've been working for almost a year, going to be a year soon. We've managed to pull together some absolutely amazing sponsors for this. We have Meyer, we have the Air Zoo, of course, the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Library Museum, the Gerald R. Ford Foundation, and a bunch of others, right?
Michigan Heroes Museum.
The city of Grand Rapids itself is a major sponsor.
Hauenstein Center, Grand Valley State University.
Yeah, it's interesting because I find it fascinating that you took it upon yourself to try to honor these veterans in this way. But also, I just think it's so telling that the legacy that Grand Rapids has here to carry this on is such an interesting piece of that conversation. So when people are coming out to this week, what do you hope that they get out of this?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Grand Rapids, I mean, I'm not surprised that Grand Rapids held the largest celebration of the 75th in the entire United States. Not at all, because this community is absolutely amazing when it comes to supporting not only veterans, but again, you talked about the Rosie of the Rivers, celebrating all those people who supported and sacrificed their lives, their labor, you name it, So it's just been an awesome experience all around.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to it. What were we going to say, Brian?
During the war, Michigan was hugely in support of the war effort. Detroit was converted, the auto manufacturing was converted to support the war effort. Muskegon in a very big way. Also, Muskegon is doing their own sort of summer Greatest Generation celebration, so people should check that out as well.
We can't forget Steelcase. Steelcase was very important. Actually, one of the things we're actually having at the museum for the 2 weeks period of time at the Ford Museum, we're going to have a replica of the desk, of the Steelcase desk, that was actually used on the USS Missouri, where General Douglas MacArthur signed the final instrument of surrender. We're also going to have a World War II plane outside on the plaza donated from the Air Zoo, probably some of those Gilmore World War II cars. So people are going to be able to come to the museum and check out all these exhibits in our lobby, and that lobby will be free for those 2 weeks.
What about our speakers, Joel? We haven't talked
Yeah,
about
let's
We've
talk about
got
some
a
of
lot
the speakers.
Why don't you talk about some of the speakers?
Well, this one in particular is close to my heart because she is the granddaughter of General Dwight D. Eisenhower,
Oh, wow.
President Eisenhower. So she and I have a shared bond here. So she'll be here on the 3rd, is it, Joel? 3rd of
September 4th.
Okay.
Oh, 4th.
And we actually have the
September 4th.
dates, I believe, in a graphic somewhere. If we could pull
Yes,
that up.
I'm seeing them now. So yeah, we have Rick Atkinson, who was a famous World War II author, wrote a very big trilogy on the Second World War, as well as a big trilogy on the American Revolution, and he'll be at our big signature event at the JW Marriott beginning at noon on September 2nd, which is the actual day of VJ Day, or the final ending of the war. We have Garrett Graff at 2 locations, the evening of September 2nd at the library in Ann Arbor, and then the following day at the Hauenstein Center at GVSU on September 3rd. Again, Susan Eisenhower on the 4th.
All of this is free to the public.
Which I think is the coolest
Yeah.
part, because
Yeah.
you know, you can learn something for free, but also get to carry on the legacy that so many of these veterans, you know, have still to this day.
And of course, my favorite is Sir Anthony Beaver, who I'm a big fan of. I've interviewed him before. He is like one of the biggest World War II authors in the entire world, international. And he will be actually talking about the United Kingdom, or the British's Greatest Generation, because they call them that too.
Wow. That's so interesting. Unfortunately, that's where we have to leave the conversation. But let's pull up that graphic one more time. So this is happening the first week of September, or I guess we should say September 1st through the 7th. And we have much more information on it on 13onyourside.com. There's parades, flyovers, lectures, lots of history to get into. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks a lot.